Hello, everyone. I'm here with Sugarfree of the Toronto Defiant, and we're here to talk about the main event. The end of Stage 2 is coming up. But before we get to that, I wanted to talk a little bit about Stage 1. Because obviously, Stage 1 was actually pretty smooth sailing, maybe give or take that timeless fixture. Was there anything you think went majorly wrong in that timeless fixture that made it maybe closer than you would have expected?
Nah, I don't think there was too much. I think we underestimated how good Sojourn was, so we were like trying to force Echo Tracer a lot, which it's not the best meta for us, but like once we figured out, like, all right, let's just play Sojourn instead, it was just free from there.
And do you expect the same here again, essentially? Like anything less than first place is kind of a failure?
Yeah, it's definitely a failure, but I think this time it will be a lot closer. Because MAD have gotten like really good now that they're all off paying the Koreans. Like Happy and Pelly are insane. So I hope I hope the grand finals are closer because I think it's going to be us and M80, and I hope it's going to be a good one. Yeah.
Do you find sometimes it's hard for you to measure how good you are because you're so dominant in so many of the scrims? Like, I feel like a lot of the time when we watch some of your scrims, we'll see maybe a close one against the EMEA teams, but then if you played like maybe an on-ping M80 or some of the others, it'd be very one-sided. Do you find it hard to get? I guess the real question is, are you able to tell you're improving, or is it harder to judge when you're so
Uh
dominant?
it is pretty hard to tell in NA. Like usually none of our scrims are ever close, and if they are, like we're not really giving it our all because like come on, it's like a waste of time pretty much. In EU as well, like it's easier to tell there because I think SSG are really good right now. ENCE not so much. I don't know what happened to them, but usually when we scrim SSG, we can like tell like yeah, I think we're improving here and there with different comps that they play because they have their comps that we can actually improve from them. But playing in NA, yeah, it's actually pretty hard to tell if we're improving or not, or just making other teams better.
And I want to maybe talk a little bit about the meta because you probably this group stage was probably almost as well, probably as easy as your last group stage, smooth sailing. So we've actually seen you play a lot more variety of comps, a lot of Anna Brig, maybe a lot more Born in certain teams as well. How much of this is do you think you've got a different take on the meta, or how much of this is just trying to learn other comps to like future proof yourself?
It's mostly just to like learn a comp for the future, like in case we need to, because I really think it doesn't matter what like comp we play, we can win on any comp in NA. Maybe now it's a little harder with M80, but I still think we could win with almost any comp. So we're just trying to improve, not be like complete one tricks like Atlanta last season.
Yeah, I think when I spoke to Cass right at the start of this year, he talked very much about part of the reason he signed for players he did was to have a team that could play any meta. Do you feel then after putting some of the time into like some of these other comps, that's starting to become true? You're starting to have this sort of armory of knowledge of all the different comps and how you want to play?
Yeah, I actually think we are. Like we have, I'm pretty confident in like most of the comps we play right now. Like everyone's really flexible as well. Like someone best tank, RuPaul can play all the sports. Merritt, he's been doing good on the like tracer and stuff like that as well. So yeah, I'm pretty confident in most of our comps right now.
Do you feel then, kind of maybe particularly last week, everyone got really Orisa pilled and we just see Orisa pushing more and more or pushing herself onto more and more maps as the meta comp. Do you think that ultimately, even though you maybe have the luxury of playing more of a variety as the dominant team, that ultimately Orisa is the meta hero everywhere, or do you think there's still space for more comps?
Um, it's hard to say. Like everyone just plays Orisa now. I think there's a couple maps where Monkey is better than Orisa in different points, but like there's no monkeys in NA either. So like it's just everyone's gonna play Orisa. But I think there's like two or three maps where that Monkey's better than Orisa on. Other than that, it's just Orisa everywhere.
And we've also seen quite a few teams. I mean, SSG are one of these teams as well, but also a couple of teams in America start to run more of a BAP Cassidy in the
Yeah.
Orisa matchup rather than Sojin Kiri. Do you have a feeling over which one you feel is stronger or which way you would lean?
Again, it's like I think the map is like very situational. Like Kiri Sojourn is better on maps like I say New Queen Street, but then like maps like Oasis, I think the BAP Cass is better. So I don't know. Also, it depends on like the player. Like, if you have an insane BAP, I think you should just play BAP like London do or SSG. But more comfortable with like Sojourn Kiri. I think it's just preference, honestly. Either comp can win.
Do you sometimes have this same problem we maybe talked about earlier when you're trying to figure out what's meta? Everything just works, so it's hard to tell what is truly going to be the most useful comp or the best comp.
Yeah. That again, like it is hard to tell because like we're not playing in Korea. We don't know like what truly would work over there. Because in NA, once again, like I'm pretty sure we could play anything and win. But I think it's a little different because like Orisa, you can tell Orisa is like dominant in almost every map. But the BAP cast versus Sojourn Kiri, I don't know. It's much harder to tell because I think both have like their own strengths and weaknesses.
And then when I did my last set of interviews, I spoke to RuPaul, and not everyone was in Toronto yet. You weren't all together as a team. Now you are all together as a team. Has this been a big boost for you in terms of, I guess, like team environment and how you feel?
I think so. I think we've gotten like a lot closer as a team, just in game and out of game. Like me, someone, and Merritt, we go to the gym almost every day. So I think that actually like boosts our me and someone's chemistry together. But yeah, it definitely has helped.
So then, as you've gotten to know everyone, I'm going to give you a list of categories, and you can maybe tell me which player you think is the answer in this category. So on the team, doesn't necessarily have to be in game, but who's the most intelligent player?
Most intelligent? Uh it's either RuPaul or someone. I don't know which one's smarter than which, but it's one of them.
All right, then who's like the jokester? Who's the funniest player?
Jokester. It's probably me or someone.
And then biggest moaner, person who complains the most.
RuPaul.
Yeah, quick on that one. And then what about most skilled player? The player maybe you're scrimming and you're just like, you think the fight's lost and you're like, oh, how the hell has he turned this one around?
Probably someone or Merritt.
And what about biggest grinder? Who plays the
Biggest
most?
grinder? Oh, RuPaul.
Yeah,
for sure. I don't know how he plays so much. Like we scrim like 6 hours and then he'll play ranked for like another 8.
And then again, doesn't have to be in game necessarily, but who's the least intelligent? Especially since you live with the guys and he's like, who this guy can't exist in the real world. Vega.
For sure. He's just I can't even say the things this guy's done, bro. he can't use chopsticks still, by the way. We've gone to eat like Korean barbecue like 5 times. He still can't use chopsticks. He just asks for a fork every time.
He asks for well, that's why he can't use them, because he's asking for a fork every time. He
no,
has
but
to,
like we try to
through.
force him.
Yeah,
we force him to like use chopsticks, and he uses like 2 hands. Like,
surely he's got like a group of people around him who can surely help guide him in this.
We've tried several times. There's just no helping him. He's just too low IQ.
We have to take him to a more, I guess, American-friendly restaurant.
No, actually, we do.
And then, if we talk about the bracket itself, you've got Citrus Nation, who are maybe a team people didn't expect to be in this position after their sort of big result in groups. Do you have any worries about Citrus Nation at all, or?
No, I have no worries for any team other than M80, and I'm not even that worried about that team. I think like the tier break between us and them is like so large. It's like it actually isn't close.
Do you think it's the sort of thing that is going to get closer and closer? Because M80 obviously now they do have their Koreans on low ping, but they're only going to have had it for like about a week and a half or something in reality.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to get closer and closer over time?
It's kind of hard to say. Like, I don't like. It depends on how like the meta shifts, I guess. Like after this stage, if Orisa stays meta, we go more to like a monkey meta. I think it might be harder on them since Hawk can't he can't play monkey too well. It's not a comfort pick. So it could get closer depending on how the meta shifts, I think.
I think maybe one of the things we've seen someone do well on pretty much every hero he's touched. Maybe Orisa's one we've not seen him on a lot before. Where would you put him then, maybe in sort of like, if you had to power rank North American Orisas, is he at the top, or?
Um, it is hard to tell like best Orisa in general. Um, he probably is at the top. It's kind of hard for me to tell because like they all do the same thing. It's like there's no like mechanics. Like you can see a monkey do a crazy primal or something like that. But Orisa, like there's little small things you have to look for, like by like watching POVs. But like if you're not the tank playing it, it's kind of hard to tell. Like, but
Yeah.
yeah,
No, yeah, it's a lot of very small things, a lot of like saving your cooldown slightly more or avoiding a little bit less damage.
yeah.
A lot of small things, really. So, presuming Toronto are going to win the whole thing, how do you think the other teams are matching up? Because obviously, for you, your ticket to Dallas looks something would have to go catastrophically wrong, really, for you not to book your ticket. But for all the other teams, it's a massive dogfight all of a sudden with Timeless dropping out. Who do you think are going to be the teams that take those final two spots to Dallas?
Um, so I think M80 is for sure going to get the Dallas spot in second, and then the third slot. I don't know, bro. It's hard. I think I want to say students of the game are actually going to make it somehow, some way, but I also think LG are like decent as well. I think it's between SOG and LG. Every other team, I don't see them making it.
Yeah, I think a few people I've talked to have said students of the game seem to be kind of on the up right now, so they might.
Yeah.
And circuit point wise, they're competitive, so you never know.
Yeah. I did. It'd be so funny seeing that team at like a LAN. Like, I don't know if you've ever watched PG streams, but like, man, this guy is like, I cannot be on the other side of the stage against this guy. I could not like focus ever.
That's going to be your kryptonite then if you run into PG at LAN and you have
probably.
to try and focus now. Now be the final downfall of Toronto.
I would.
Then, obviously, since you expect to go to Dallas, do you have much of a read currently on how you fare internationally? Like, obviously, the top of North America, but what about versus EMEA or when you try and factor in the Korean teams as well?
I think right now, we're better than EMEA. Actually, I don't know about Twisted Minds. I know they're really good, but we haven't scrimmed them once, like since the Mog sim meta. But for like SSG and ENCE, I think we are stronger than them. And then for Korea, uh, I'm not sure where I place us like against Korean teams because like I honestly I haven't watched that much of them. But I don't think the skill gap is as big as everybody thinks it is.
You think it's reachable then?
Yeah.
Do you think it's reachable if you take them in a mirror match, or would you have to like try and, especially I guess it's a very Florida way to try and win a series, right? Exploit someone's flexibility and try and sort of counter comp your way through.
I think that is what we would try to do because like once again like we are so flexible. So like what's the point of taking the mirror unless it favors us? But yeah, I think we would try to do more of the flexible picks.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Sugarfree. I do appreciate your time. And obviously, best of luck. I'm sure Toronto will be odds on for another stage title.
All right. Thank you.